Today we're taking a look at the Golden Axe Dead Frame Lizard Skeleton 2-pack from Storm Collectibles.
DorkLair!
If you've been listening to the DorkLair podcast or following on social media, you know that I've become a huge fan of these Golden Axe Storm Collectibles figures. The skeletons in particular, I think I must have like 7 different variants of those skeletons now. The dragon was my figure of the year in 2020, I believe. Like, I love this line, and it's really cool to see them expanding beyond just those same skeletons and doing pretty much a completely original sculpt with these dead frame sort of lizard man creature figures. I think these were from like a sequel game. I don't remember these particularly in the original Golden Axe, and I have not like a deep lore kind of guy when it comes to Golden Axe. It's just a fun thing. But they do make for some awesome figures, so let's get into this review. First up, here's a quick look at the packaging. Not much to write home about. It's the same box that we've been seeing with all these figures. Little nice glossiness on the side with the figure there. Some poses on the back with accessories, and then the other one on the side there. And if you're wondering where I got these, I did not order from like Big Bad or one of the US retailers. I ordered these direct. This is my first time ordering direct. It cost a little bit more, but you know, it got to me super fast. I did not, however, get any sort of tracking or shipment notification. It just showed up on my doorstep. All right, coming in for a close-up of that new sculpt, brand new figure, top to bottom. There's nothing reused out of this. I do feel like my ribs are shaped a little weird, but because they're kind of soft, and they did come with one of these like foam things inside holding it in place, which I had to use because that hole is kind of small. I had to use tweezers to get that out of there. But yeah, a little bit deformed, I think, in the ribs there. Let's compare it to this one here. Yeah, you can see that one's shaped a little better. I bet if I heated that up, I would probably be able to kind of like get it back into the right shape. But yeah, you can see it's a whole new sculpt, completely different. Even the arms that appear at first glance to be just regular skeleton arms, they are a different sculpt. Everything top to bottom is brand new. It's kind of cool. It's got a tail. This figure is definitely on the gray side rather than the bone white, but it's not as dark as like the charcoal ones that they came out with for, I think, SDCC last year. I think the articulation points are mostly the same, but the shape of some certain elements of it make the range a little bit different. And as far as the coloring and the paintwork goes, you know, there's not a lot to talk about. It's pretty consistent throughout, this sort of gray chalkiness. You know, there is some texture to the paintwork where it's a bit of a gray underneath with a white on top, or, you know, a lighter gray on top. Gives it that kind of bone feeling. And yeah, I mean, it's a great looking figure. Very cool. Jaw opens up and you've got some teeth in there. And one more just quick close up so you can kind of see the eye sockets and the neck, shoulder blades. Yeah. For accessories, each one comes with a full set of hands. You can see up top here we have the fists that were originally on the figure. We have a set of pointing fingers. Then we have a set of relaxed hands and clawing hands. And of course, we have the gripping hands that are currently on the figures. Additionally, each one comes with a shield that has these spikes on it, and there's a lot of shading, scratches, all sorts of nice weathering throughout the shield, giving it that metal been scratched through kind of look. And it's even painted on the inside. You just have a loop to put the arm through and then a handle to grip it with the gripping hand. And they both come with this double-sided melee weapon that has a blade on each side. The blades have some nice shading. Wooden handle, almost looks like you can see the rivets that are sculpted in there holding the thing together. Very nice looking weapon here. Pretty cool, and I think this will be a fun one to mix and match with like Mythic Legions and stuff. I'm always super impressed with the detail and the weapons on these Storm Collectibles figures. Next up, we'll take a look at the articulation. The one place that it's not great is in the neck. I kind of wish they had found a way to put some articulation at the base of the neck, but this is all one piece. It doesn't feel that bad on the regular skeletons, but with this much extra length going on, you can kind of feel that it's not there. And you can see it's just a ball joint at the top, so that's pretty much the extent of the range you're going to get. And because it's a skull, it's kind of limited in the sideways turn. Like I can't, as I get it more to the side, it just becomes cocked. So he can't totally look to the side really well. But he can, you know, twist side to side. You could spin the head upside down if you wanted. Not that that's going to be any use, but he can look up this far and he can look down this far. And then, of course, I already mentioned the jaws articulated. You can kind of get a look at how that moves. Every joint has the ball joint that all the skeletons share. You can twist it, and then you can hinge it, and you can spin it all the way around. And he can bring it up to the side this far. Ball at the elbow will bring it up to about 45-degree angle there. So it's not technically double jointed, but gets a pretty good amount of range. You can also twist it at that elbow. And then we have one of these hinges at the wrist. You can spin that ball so that you can do vertical hinges, or you can do horizontal hinges if you spin it the other way. Bottom of the rib cage, there's a ball joint there. And again, you can play with those angles to get him side to side. And at that point, he can come back really far, forward quite a bit. And then there's another one down at the waist. So when you combine those together, you know, he can go way down and be very creature-like in his poses, or he can come way back and be completely demented. Same type of joint at the tail. Wherever you need to put that tail, you can pretty much position it however you want, but there's no other additional joint throughout the tail. At the hip, it has that almost barbell type joint where there's a ball socket in the hip, and then you come out to that same hinge type joint at the top. So it gives it a little more range there when you're kind of moving it around. Almost like effectively a little bit of a drop down kind of move where you can make them a little taller or shorter, give them a little bit more range. And of course you can twist it over here, and that enables him to kick all the way up, bring it way back there. He can go out into the splits. Hinge joint at the knee can kick back past 90 degrees. There is a twist at the knee as well. And again, at the ankle, same joint. And if you play around with it, you can get it out to the side so that you can do a little bit of an ankle rocker. Or you can bring it to the front, and then you can have him rocking forward and back. So a lot of fun articulation points. Let's take a look at how this guy looks next to some other figures. First comparison, we have the standard skeletons. On the left is the exclusive charcoal colored one. Some people refer to this as the black one. That's probably my favorite skeleton. And on the right is the standard original release skeleton. And you can see that height-wise, they are the same. Color-wise, they're right in between these two. These are sort of a lighter gray, not the white bone of the original and not the dark charcoal of that exclusive. Next up, we have our hero and our villain, and you can see that Death Adder is gigantic. He does not even fit in the frame. Bringing in some other lines, we have a couple Conan figures, and you can see that the Super 7 Conan scales really well with these. The Mezco Conan's a little bit smaller than these, but again, when you get these lizard guys into their natural hunched over position, I feel like they're right in there with the Mezco stuff. And last but not least, we have a couple Mythic Legions figures, so you can see the size comparison to some 1.0 Legions, including a skeleton. I think they scale pretty well. Like, generally speaking, the Storm Collectibles figures are bigger, and the skeletons are a little bit bigger humanoid-wise, but because there's such a wide range of sizes of giants and half giants and, you know, different types of characters in Mythic Legions, I feel like you could just slide these in perfectly and mix and match these guys really well with your Mythic Legions. And that's pretty much what I do. Like, my Storm Collectibles collection is just Golden Axe. It's adding on to my sort of 6-7 inch fantasy stuff. Finally, if you're curious about this kit bash right here, I did do a video where I show the combination of two characters to make this one knight.